Thank you, Tirtsa. Thank you for being the organizer of all this, because that's what we usually need. And welcome to everybody for this. It's one weekend. So I don't know if you're aware of what it is. I mean, you know, sometimes people just come, but I think because we're at the end of a text, actually, which is Shantideva's Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So then, of course, it is, this one, especially the last one, is, I hope you will not find it too extreme, or if you find it too extreme, I mean, you have every right to find it extreme. It's Shantideva's view about exchanging oneself with others. First, equalizing oneself with others, while we're not the center of the universe, and then actually exchanging oneself for others. And it's not just the people we love, but it's kind of everybody. So we will be discussing that this weekend, so that you're not kind of, it's not about you are not worth anything and you know you don't deserve to be happy and all this, but he is actually explaining how that's, if we want to be happy, if we want to have a good reputation, if we want to have a comfortable life, and if we want things to go that we would like them to go, you have no other chance but doing this. Like, you know, all the struggle and all the fighting and not being the friar on all this, it gives you a short-term happiness maybe, but long-term it's not. And for that, you know, a good kind of understanding, or at least some openness about that there is rebirth and karma, how karma works, so it's necessary to make sense. Otherwise, this really doesn't make sense, because otherwise it becomes just a masochistic text. And that's not what we're here for. Okay? So if you find it too extreme, by all means, you know, ask, or can you please explain, how do I apply this now? Do I apply it now? Do I not apply it now? What shall I do? That's by all means. Let's be open, and it's nice the group is not so big, so we can really start a discussion. Because this text is, yes, to be practiced by somebody who wants to attain enlightenment. That's why it is a guide to Bodhisattva's way of life. It's not just, you know, very nice ideas, but it is practice, manual, but also one with a lot of care and love for oneself. Not attachment, not, you know, not this exaggerated me, the center of the universe, but one goes at it. And these are suggestions what to do. And don't forget, Shantideva talks to himself. He has really decided, this is my path, this is my way. I want to get out of samsara, meaning I don't want to be under the control of my negative emotions anymore. It's a big job, because we have, since beginningless lifetimes, we are used to these negative emotions, and we're using them whenever things are not going the way we want them to go, in the hope that it will get better, but it's actually getting worse and worse and worse. That is the problem. So for him, it's quite clear, I have to stop this behavior, because not only I want to be free of suffering and causes of suffering, but I also want to, that he recognizes everybody is the same. Everybody has this potential to be happy and not to have suffering and causes of suffering, and therefore I want to discover how to do this. I want to have direct realization, meaning I want to be enlightened, and then I can maybe inspire and guide all other beings to that. Not maybe. Then my aim is to inspire and guide all other beings to that state, those who want. Right? So don't forget, from the Buddhist point of view, everybody can become a Buddha. Nobody has to. You know, don't feel that you're being put under pressure and say, oh, but this I don't want to practice. Nobody forces you to practice that. This, if you do practices like this, like exchanging oneself for others, this has to come out of understanding, it will be good for me in the long run. Yeah, the same as when we were children. Remember, Mom, who had to tell us, please, you know, do this, it will be good for you in the future. We didn't believe it. Then either we didn't do it and then we suffered in the future, which many of us did, me included maybe, because I never listened. I wanted to be independent, I knew what I wanted to do, la la, I was a rebel, and if somebody came to tell me what I should do that I disliked, then on purpose I did the opposite. This is how stupid the ego can be. Just to be somebody, just to be somewhere. Then I suffered at the end. Not the people who tried to help me when I was younger. Yeah? So it's a bit like this. So if we can use it like this to remember, I already had a period in my life when somebody who was wiser than I am, wiser because, why? Because they also made that experience. That's where their wisdom is coming from, because they also made that experience, and is trying to help me, and I then didn't listen, and then I really got it, or I listened, and then, yeah, it's true, it came out well, it came out okay. I mean, how many of you, if nobody would have kind of pushed you to go to school every day, would have gone to school every day? Definitely not me, that's for sure. How many of you would have brushed your teeth every day if nobody would have checked and pushed you? None of us, yeah? So if our teeth are more or less okay, it's thanks to mom or dad or whoever it was who kind of came with this same old question, did you brush your teeth? Until it became a habit. And when it becomes a habit, maybe, also it is a very good example. Suffering, brushing teeth at the beginning is suffering. You don't want to do it. Why do I have to do it? I don't see the benefit. And, I have better things to do. And then, how did it, maybe in the reflection that we're going to do now, when did it kind of come from suffering into a habit and absolutely no big deal? And even a pleasure. So it's the same action. So the same thing, this is what Shantideva is trying to tell us. At the moment, to see ourselves as equal as others and exchanging ourselves for others, it will be very painful. You will suffer a lot. Yeah? He warns us. Then if you don't suffer, all the better. He doesn't say for sure. He says he might. You might, you might have to give up things that you're attached to. But then we remember, okay, it's just that I'm not used to it. It's just that I am used to see myself as an individual. One entity. And everybody and everything around me separate from me. This is such an illusion. It's such a wrong view, but the view of that is so strong, that it takes time to change it, and we have to hear it again and again. Again, maybe this morning we'll do a reflection on how this ego I manifests and how it cannot exist. It's not logical that it can exist the way that it manifests. The word individuum means not dividable. We are very dividable. We can cut off parts and pieces of our body. We have already two parts, which is body and mind. The mind can be divided into mind moments, into happiness and sadness and anger and love and intelligence and stupidity or whatever. And we call ourselves individual. We're totally connected with the whole universe, and we behave as if we are an individual. And that's why there's suffering. And that's why we're not able to live our values in a very kind of natural way. We all want to be good. I mean, if you're here and you think, no, being good is being good, being kind, being friendly, that's not what I want, then maybe you're in the wrong place, because that's what we're going to learn. Yeah, and I think, as the Dalai Lama said not so long ago, he was talking a lot about friendliness. And he says, I think friendliness is still considered a good thing. Still, he said. It's kind of changing a bit, but it's still being considered a good thing in this world. So that's why we want to develop friendliness. And for that we need methods, because it's no point telling the ego, now be friendly. Then you come across as a totally fake person. That's not going to work. Friendliness has to come because you want to be friendly, and it becomes then naturally. Okay, so we start with meditation, do short kind of reflection a little bit on motivation. What do I want? So for that, it's good if you can sit with the straight back. If you need more cushions, also for the people on the chairs, because, the chair might feel comfortable at the moment, but then after a while it's like samsara. Samsara feels very good at times, but then when we stay with the same situation, it becomes uncomfortable. Exactly. Support your knees if you need to. Put something softer on your chairs if you need to. There's enough suffering, we don't need to add. But also, be aware, it's in the nature of the body to suffer. So even we start the meditation without pain, if we don't move, pain will creep in no matter what. It's natural, it's normal. But try to make yourselves as comfortable as you can at the moment, at the beginning. If the floor is not good, then go to a chair also, try it out and relax. But sit with a straight back if you can. Connect with your body, that's always the first thing that we connect to come into the present, because if we want to figure out how reality is, we can only discover it in the present. For that we need to be awake, we need to be aware, so to know, and to know not through the intellect, but to know through experience. So you from your own side, try to discover what you can know at the moment directly without your intellect, but through experience. And I let you 10 minutes to do that. Try not to go into thoughts, evaluation, thinking, oh shit, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. It's like, learn to experience. You will do, of course. Try not to judge. Try not to evaluate, this is good, this is bad, blah, blah. Stop the radio in the head as much as you can. And you can do that by body sensations. They're not in your brain, they're in your body. It's the mind who feels them, that's true. So whenever you move, whenever you breathe, whenever you can jump around, you feel your bum touching something. Wherever there's contact, there's also experience, feeling, sensation. Try to be very alert. As much as possible. Don't evaluate. Just experience. That's what meditation is for. That we are present and we know what we are experiencing. So we'll do that 10 minutes. Don't get frustrated if you think, because you will start thinking right away. Close your eyes so you don't have visual experiences. Most of our judgment comes through the eyes. And we see something. Just body experience, touch, works very well for that exercise. Maybe because maybe two of you, I don't know, so if you don't know how to calm the mind, just a hint, breathing in, breathing out, experiencing the breath going in. Going out is difficult. Going out, you might only experience the chest or the abdomen kind of falling. But breathing in, you can feel the breath on your nostrils. Breathing out, try to be very, very aware and try to feel something. Maybe it works. If it doesn't work, then no experience, no sensation. And then try to see if you need thoughts in order to experience. If you need the label to know soft, hard, hot, cold, rough, smooth. So if you keep your awareness, your attention on your breath, the mind is not going totally wild and getting lost. If your mind is going totally wild, also absolutely no problem, because we are just here to observe what's going on. So you don't need to kind of push it to become calm. Just let it be. Just observe it. And then when maybe the mind has calmed down a bit, then we can start with bringing in the intellect. Then we call it reflection. And you just ask yourself, what do I really want? What is important for me? Of course, on a deeper level, we will want to be happy. We all want to be well, we all want to be free of suffering. But what about this, as I said before, being friendly? Just ask yourself the question, do I want to be friendly, kind, in a natural way, being considerate about others? And also remember moments when we are friendly, kind, in a natural way, considerate towards others because we want to, not because we want something from them. Just in a very natural way. How do you feel at these moments? What do you call that? Happiness, well-being, openness, being spacious. Feeling just very simply good, without any arrogance, without any fear. This is why it's so important to do these experience kind of exercises that you learn to experience. That your mind then naturally notices how it feels when you're kind, considerate, open and spacious, friendly. But again and again and again we're kind of drawn into by our deluded and confused mind in following emotions like anger, hatred, desire, attachment, jealousy, self-cherishing, self-importance, all of this. We're drawn into this again and again and again. And from the Buddhist point of view, and also I think from experience point of view, you don't feel well. You don't feel open. You become very tight and very narrow and very tense when any of these emotions are directing our body and speech. So not only don't we feel well in these moments, but it is also that we do actions which then create some kind of residues or imprints on our mind, like potentials, that then in the future again will kind of end up as going into the same direction. It becomes a habit, but it also becomes a boomerang, like the same thing happens to us, called karma. At the moment we don't have control over our negative emotions. They are controlling us. And we can only kind of do something about them if we don't identify with them. Never say, I am angry, or I'm an angry person, a frightened person, a jealous person, a stupid person. The person is just a label for this combination of body and mind. What you're describing is states of mind. When you say, I'm angry, I'm loving, I'm peaceful. And we can work with these states of mind. If we recognize what to eliminate and what to develop, then we have a good chance that the person, the merely labeled person, is well, open, spacious, and can live its values spontaneously, uninterruptedly, and effortlessly. And the purpose of our practice, now this is what we do here, is called Mahayana. We're not doing this just for ourselves. So even if you don't know what Mahayana is, even if you never heard about enlightenment before, at least the motivation to be here would be that I become more peaceful, more loving, more open, less fearful, less self-concerned. Of course it will make me happier, but that's not the only purpose. May that then benefit my family, my work colleagues, my friends, and everybody else I meet. And especially now when we're going to look at this quite radical text, you have to make a promise to yourself that you're not going to be harsh with yourself. You're not going to try out things that don't make sense to you. That you will listen, not put yourself under pressure to be able to understand everything, because you don't know the context. Don't forget, we're in the 8th chapter. There were 7 chapters before that. And to just adapt whatever you feel that will benefit you and others in the long run. Great. Thank you. So if you need to, you can get up, stand up a little bit, shake out your legs, your arms, your body. And then we'll start with Nagarjuna's 20 verses. That will be on the screen. So we decide more and more to do things with the projector and the screen, so we don't have to print things also that usually just end up in big boxes in some mahsan somewhere, and nobody knows where they are and what they're for, and then as one shouldn't throw away Dharma things, then it becomes a big problem. One doesn't know what to do with them. So this is perfect. It's good for the environment. It's good for your mind, not having to dispose of Dharma things. If you do have to dispose of them, then always kind of dissolve them into emptiness first. You know, make a practice out of, don't just throw it away. Make a practice out of it, and you think that one thing is, don't print too many things that then you're not using anymore. Use your computer. I know it's not pleasant to look at the screen, also I don't like it, but since I don't have a printer anymore, it becomes